Okay or not?
Okay, sir.
Okay. This is just have a look at this pic. First use of IV fluids, the cholera epidemic in Britain. Idea of providing nutrients intravenously was by Sir Christopher. So this is just composition of body fluids, total body water. Water is the most important constituent of human body. Total body water as a percentage of body weight varies with age. The fetus has a very high total body water, which gradually decreases to about 75% of birth weight for a term infant. Premature infants have a higher total body weight, total body water content than term infants. During the first year of life, total body water decreases to about 60% of body weight and basically remains at this level until puberty. By the end of puberty, total body water in boys remains at 60%, but total body weight water in girls decreases to about 50% of body weight due to difference in body fat. The high fat content in overweight children leads to decrease in total body water. During dehydration also, total body water decreases and thus is a smaller percentage of body weight. So initially, very important thing in your body is water. Okay, total body water. It's more in premature infants than in term infants, and more in boys than in girls. And high weight, high fat, overweight, obese children leads to decrease in total body water, and even during dehydration. Means in many conditions like vomitings, diarrhea, you may have dehydration. In that also total body water decreases, but in a smaller percentage. Okay. This is according to age. Just have a look at it. ఆయన కేసెస్ చూస్తున్నాడు ఆయన ఎందుకు చూస్తున్నాడు జస్ట్ హ్యావ్ ఎ లుక్ ఎట్ దిస్ స్లైడ్ 1 minute కాదు ఆయన చూసేది ఏంటి So this is electrolytes composition, plasma and intracellular, cations and anions. Just have a look: sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, bicarbonates. This is electrolytes composition. Only fever hai kada. So general fluid therapy in pediatrics, it is very important in these cases. Infants less than 30 weeks, infants weighing less than 1250 grams, sick term newborns like severe birth, even in term newborns also, if they are sick, in cases like severe birth asphyxia, apnea, RDS, sepsis, seizures and cystic fibrosis. So fluid therapy generally when will you give in pediatrics or newborns, infants less than 30 weeks, infants who are weighing less than 1250 grams, approximately even less than 1500 grams also you generally go for, because sucking reflex won't be good. And then sick term newborns, severe birth asphyxia, apnea, RDS, sepsis, seizures and cystic fibrosis. And other causes, gastroenteritis, I told you already, dehydration. Gastroenteritis, dehydration, fever, diabetes insipidus, DKA, burns, coma, diuretics and intestinal drainage. Other causes like gastroenteritis, dehydration, fever, diabetes, burns, coma, diuretics and intestinal drainage. These all generally you give for fluid therapy, go for fluid therapy. Generally, why do you give fluid therapy? Is to correct body water and electrolytes disturbance to restore and maintain blood volume, osmolality, pH, and electrolyte composition, and to restore normal physiological function. Just have a look at this slide. Okay, I'll go for next slide. Hello. Can I go for next slide?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir.
There, okay. So IV fluid indications, I already told you briefly. First one is diarrhea, dehydration, severe dehydration, more than 10% of body water loss in infants. Diarrhea is accompanied by severe uncontrolled vomiting, inability to comply with the oral fluids. So other indications are hemorrhage, shock, electrolyte disturbances, supplying fluids and food for patients who are unable to maintain oral intake. In a collapsed patient, IV fluids are given initially rapidly to avoid hypomia and irreversible shock. Later on, fluid therapy is adjusted according to loss in stools and sweat clinically by noting the neck veins and urine output. So IV fluid therapy in pediatrics, these are general conditions: diarrhea, hemorrhage, shock, electrolyte disturbances, who cannot take orally and who are in shock. So there will be two types of plasma expanders, crystalloids and colloids. So types of IV fluids, there will be two types, crystalloids and colloids. Crystalloids are normal saline, NS, RL, and 5% dextrose. Colloids are human albumin, gelatin solutions, dextran. These are all colloids. So there will be two types of IV fluids, crystalloids and colloids. Generally, we go for crystalloids because normal saline, NS means 0.9%, RL, and 5% dextrose. ఏంటంటున్నావే? So there will be two types of principles of fluid therapy: maintenance therapy and deficit therapy. Maintenance and replacement therapy. Goals of maintenance fluids is prevent dehydration, prevent electrolyte disorders, prevent ketoacidosis, and prevent protein degradation. And infants are more susceptible for water loss due to physiological inability of their renal tissues to concentrate, higher metabolic rate, larger body surface area, poorly developed thirst mechanism, and larger turnover water exchange. So this is a maintenance and replacement therapy. Just have a look at the slide. So this is general this is how we calculate fluid therapy in pediatrics according to body weight and fluid per day. 0 to 10 kg 100 ml per kg per day, 11 to 20 kg 1000 ml plus 50 ml per kg for each kg more than 10 kg, and more than 20 kg means 1500 ml plus 20 ml per kg for each kg more than 10 kg. This is how you generally calculate maintenance IV fluid in pediatric age group. Just have a look at this. 3 points. These are very important. Regularly in practice also you go for this formula. The maximum total fluid per day is normally 2400 ml. Fluid of choice is either half DNS plus 20 milliequivalents of KCl or half NS or half DNS plus 20 ml equivalents of KCl. The maintenance fluid rate is normally 100 ml per hour. 0 to 10 kg 4 ml per kg per hour, 10 to 20 kg 40 ml per hour plus 22 ml per kg per hour, and more than 20 kg is 60 ml per hour plus 1 ml per kg per hour. Have a brief look at the slide. This is how you calculate IV fluid therapy in pediatrics. So electrolytes maintenance, sodium, potassium and chloride are given in maintenance fluid to replace losses from urine and stool. Basically these three are very important: sodium, potassium and chloride. Maintenance requirements for sodium and potassium is: sodium is 2 to 3 milliequivalents per kg per 24 hours, potassium is 1 to 2 milliequivalents per kg per 24 hours. Adequate chloride is provided as along with at least half of the sodium and potassium are given as chloride salts. So glucose maintenance fluid usually contains 5% dextrose, which provides 17 calories per 100 ml and close to 20% of daily caloric needs. This is enough to prevent ketone production and helps minimize protein degradation. It is a diet and child will lose weight on this regimen. So mainly sodium and potassium replacement, electrolyte replacement will be done. Sodium is 2 to 3 milliequivalents per kg per 24 hours. Potassium is 1 to 2 milliequivalents per kg per 24 hours. So if the child comes in shock, hypotensive shock, you should start isotonic crystalloid or colloid. And if there is improvement, IV crystalloid or colloid 10 ml per kg per hour for 1 hour. IV crystalloids reduce gradually 5 to 7, 3 to 5 and 2 to 3 ml per kg per hour. And if there is clinical improvement, you can stop IV fluids at 48 hours. This is generally you go for dengue. A child comes in dengue fever and generally in shock. Just have a look at this slide. Have a look at this slide also. Just have a brief look. What are the IV fluids? Normal saline or Ringer's lactate. We generally use RL. So deficit therapy, isonatremic, dehydration, hyponatremic and hypernatremic. This is very important. Management of dehydration. What are the, first of all, will you assess whether the child is in dehydration or not? Just have a look at this. History is increased thirst, reduced level of consciousness, drowsy and reduced urine output. So anterior fontanella is also sunken eyes, reduced or absent tears, dry mucous membrane, loss of skin turgor, pulse rate increased, capillary refill time is prolonged more than 2 seconds, blood pressure low, respiration deep and rapid. These are the signs of dehydration in children. Increased thirst, reduced level of consciousness, reduced urine output, sunken eyes, CFT capillary refill time. You should calculate. You should see more than 2 seconds. If it takes more than 2 seconds, it is prolonged. Blood pressure low, respiration deep and rapid. This is how you calculate whether the child is in dehydration, no dehydration, some dehydration. These are all the signs. Just have a look at this. You'll get a brief idea whether the child, how do you assess whether the child is in dehydration or not. Sunken Fontanelle. So when there are some no signs of dehydration and shock. Hello, is everything okay? Anyone there? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. 1 minute. Just charging is getting over. I'll just put for charge. Kerja pesa. Woi. Kerja pesa. So no signs of dehydration, education and advice, continue breastfeeding and usual milk feeds, encourage fluid intake. If it is an increased risk of dehydration, observation offer 5 ml per kg of ORS as supplementary fluids. If the child is in dehydration, means when will the child be in dehydration is if the child is having continuous vomiting episodes and not, you should consider ondansetron, ORS 50 ml per kg over 4 hours plus maintenance requirements. If the child is not tolerating oral fluids, IV fluids, if the child comes in shock, IV access for IV 20 ml per kg bolus of normal saline. If not improving, repeat fluid bolus. If not improving after 40 ml per kg, call for emergency. Go for emergency. If it is maintaining IV fluids maintenance, and you can go for correction. Generally, you will give a bolus of normal saline 20 ml per kg. So I already told you how to approach for dehydration. What are the signs and symptoms of dehydration? So I already told you types of dehydration. This is isonatremic dehydration. The child with dehydration has lost water. There is almost always a concurrent loss of sodium and potassium. Most patients have isotonic dehydration and therefore have normal serum sodium values. Calculation of deficits. Water deficit percentage of dehydration into weight. Sodium deficit, water deficit into 80 milliequivalents per liter. Potassium deficit is water deficit into 30 milliequivalents per liter. So the child with dehydration requires acute IV fluids to ensure that there is adequate tissue perfusion. This requires restoration of intravascular volume with isotonic solutions such as normal saline or RLs. I already told you. 1 second. I already told you two common most used IV fluids are normal saline and RL. When there is adequate intravascular volume, it is appropriate to plan the fluid therapy for the next 24 hours. The general approach is outlined as follows. This is how we generally go. I already told you if it is in short, 20 ml per kg over 20 minutes, normal saline, and then repeat until 40 ml per kg. Calculate 24 hours water needs, calculate maintenance of water and deficit. Select an appropriate IV fluid, administer half the calculated fluid during the first 8 hours, and then you should subtract the bolus which you already give. So generally you give RL or NS bolus of 20 ml per kg. If the child is in shock, you can go for 40 ml per kg. This is isonatremic dehydration. So hyponatremic dehydration is the pathogenesis of hyponatremic dehydration is usually due to a combination of sodium and water loss and water retention to compensate for the volume depletion. It occurs in children generally who have diarrhea and consume hypotonic fluid, water, or diluted formula. The initial goal is to treat hyponatremia. The same thing you can use NS or ringer lactate, and this is the formula: sodium deficit into is equal to 0.6 into weight. This is the general formula. Rapid correction is more than 12 milliequivalents per liter per 24 hours. So when you go for rapid correction is fluctuating loss of consciousness. And this is hypernatremic. The next is hypernatremic dehydration. This is most dangerous form of dehydration due to complications of hypernatremia and of therapy. So the movement of water from the intracellular space to the extracellular space during hypernatremic dehydration protects the intravascular volume. Thus, children with hypernatremia often appears less ill than children with similar degree of isotonic dehydration. Fluid output may be preserved longer and there may be less tachycardia. Unfortunately, the milder manifestations often lead to children with hypernatremic dehydration being brought to medical attention with profound dehydration. Have a just brief look at the hypernatremic dehydration. It is the most dangerous form of dehydration. So I already told you this normal management, 20 ml per kg normal saline. Just have to look at this slide once. I already told you this slide previously. Just have a look at this. Okay, this is this IV fluid therapy following neonates. Okay, if the child normal birth weight is so have a look at this slide. In normal neonates, first 48-72 hours you go for 10% dextrose and then isolate T. That's a fluid of choice. And if it is per day, how much you calculate per kg, how much ml you give the IV fluids is given. Just have a look at this slide. Day 1 80 ml per kg per day. Day 2 is 100. If it is less than 1000 grams, 120, 130. Just have a look at this. This is IV fluid per day. How much you give first 7 days of life in neonates, newborns. Okay, when now what is it? What are we should monitor in babies receiving IV fluids? Inspect the infusion site every hour. Look for redness at the swelling around the insertion site of the cannula, which indicates that the cannula is not in the vein and IV fluid is leaking into the subcutaneous tissues. So if redness or swelling is seen at any time, stop the IV line infusion, remove the cannula and establish a new IV line in a different vein. Check the volume of IV fluids you are giving compared to prescribed volume or not. Measure blood glucose, means GRBS, every 6 to 8 hours. If the blood glucose is less than 45 mg per dl, treat for hypoglycemia in newborns. If it is more than 150 mg per dl and 2 consecutive readings, change to 5% dextrose solution. So These are monitoring of babies with IV fluids. Generally, the IV cannula site, you should go on monitoring it. If there is redness or swelling, just remove the cannula and again replace the cannula. So these are all absolute contraindications. Absolute contraindications, none. Relative contraindications, avoid extremities that are massive edema, burns or injury in these cases other IV sites need to be accessed. Avoid going through area of cellulitis. If the child the child has developed cellulitis and all, it is contraindicated. That's the briefing. So now IV fluids complications are phlebitis, thrombophlebitis, sepsis, extravasation, air in tube or air embolus, glucose and electrolyte disturbances, sodium, hypoglycemia. Already told you GRBS monitoring every 6 to 8 hourly, circulatory overload, hypertension and pulmonary edema. Rapid administration in pediatrics leads to heart failure. This is very important. Okay, just have a brief look. 1 second, I'll just come back. Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, just lost the connection. Wi-Fi is down. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So I already told you these are the complications of IV fluids: phlebitis, thrombophlebitis, sepsis, circulatory overload, hypertension, pulmonary edema, and rapid administration pediatrics leads to heart failure. Just have a look at this IV lines common problems. This generally happen more in pediatric age group and more in neonatal age group. So whenever you see a swelling at the IV site, you should replace the IV cannula. This is how you can secure your IV line. Generally, newborns and children, you have to do this because they won't be able to bear it. You will be actually doing this. This is the 2 days. This is for the arm, this is for the leg. So for generally pediatric age group, just leave about all this. In pediatric age group, 24G yellow color cannula you will be using in pediatric age group. Okay, yellow color cannula, that also size of 24G yellow color cannula. Okay. This is briefly the IV in pediatrics. Okay. Next class, next week, I'll come back to you with another topic. Okay, fine.
Okay, sir.